Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kasa podcast. Today, we're super excited here at the tribe because today we're telling anansism. For those who are not familiar with anansism, we're talking about Ghanaian folklore and folk tales. Like, for a long time, lessons have been passed on from generation to generation through the use of stories and myths and legends. And for the West African sub region, and even as far as some parts of North Africa and Latin America, stories of Kweku Ananse have been told for generations. Through Ananse stories, lessons have been transmitted from one generation to another. Warnings, sometimes just for entertainment, right? Stories have been told about the legendary Kweku Ananse. And today, here on the podcast, we're going to be telling our favorite folklore about Kweku Ananse. Before we get in, right, I have the tribe here. They are prepared with their stories, and today we're going to have a very unique competition here on the tribe, which we've never actually had. But before we get into the competition and we start throwing the folk tales at you, I wanted to sort of give you a teaser of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sharing our favorite folk law and stories about Kweku Ananse, like I first said. And we're going to be introducing you to a part of Ghanaian culture, which is we'll tell the story and tell the lessons most people derive from it. And while you're watching, you can also tell us some of the stories you've heard. You can just type it in. I know it's going to be very long, but you can give us the title and some of the major lessons you've learned from these folk tales. Kweku Ananse, through these stories, you're going to know so much about him, but he is probably one of the biggest characters in African traditional folklore. And we're going to learn a lot about him. We're going to tell our stories. We're going to have a competition, like I said. We're going to have 2 rounds, right, of storytelling. Every tribe member is going to go through their story, the lessons. We're going to laugh and discuss some of them, and then we're going to let the viewers vote. So if you're on the live stream, and even if you're watching later, you can just go into the comment section, and after every round, tell us who you think told the best story. We're going to dive in. I'm going to bring everybody into the house right now. I have Ifya in the building. I have Wendy in the building. Echo is here. Everybody's ready to tell their stories and win the award. And guys, I'm not going to tell you, but we have a bet backstage. The 4 of us have put some money in a pot for the person who tells the best story. So guys, you know who to vote for. You know who to vote for right here. Right here.
See you.
Guys, we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump right in.
Yeah.
We're going to start the first round. The first round of Kweku Ananse stories. We're going to go around the room, tell our stories. I'll start. Ifya goes next. Wendy goes next. And then Echo ends the first round. And then the viewers are going to vote. Right. So if you're in the comments, if you're in the live stream and you're ready to vote, please just let me know you're here. I know Song is here. I know the headless YouTuber is here. I'm so excited. The headless YouTuber is here. We have so many amazing people on. We're ready to go. Nanaya, Wendy and Ify are looking cute. Please don't vote for them because they are looking cute. Vote for the best story. Vote for the best story. Echo has already won. Guys, I'm so excited. We're going to get into this. So I'm going to kickstart this. Guys, my story. Kweku Ananse, like I've already talked about, is one of the legendary characters in Ghanaian folklore. This story talks about Ananse and how he owned the right to all the Ananse stories you'd hear. Before I jump into my story, I would like to give a primer for those who are not Ghanaians, right? Whenever we're going to tell a Kweku Ananse story or Ananse story, we start with the phrase anansism ye esisio, which basically means the story I'm about to tell might contain some trickery. It might contain some witty maneuvers by Kweku Ananse. Normally, the audience would respond, Eyesisia, Esewara, right? And so for every one of our stories, we're going to start the traditional Ghanaian way and say, Anansisem Yesisio. And I hope you at home would respond, Eyesisia, Esewara. So I'm going to jump right in. Anansisem Yesisio. I
Eh,
presume you've said it.
Sisia Esawa.
All right. And so a long time ago, kings and mighty men from all over the world decided to own the rights to all mythological stories and folk tales. Many came to try to claim this as their property, as their birthright. And as the many legends came and went and nobody could claim it, Ochediampon Kwame, the custodian of stories at the time, was almost certain no man or woman can take this right. One day, Anansi walked his way to the throne room of Chediampon Kwame and said, Chediampon, I want to get the rights to all folklore, that is, all folk tales that are ever going to be told. I want them all to be mine. I want to own it all. And Chediampon Kwame told him, Kweku, you can only do it when you meet the three challenges. The only three small challenges you have to face. If you meet them all, you will get exclusive right to all folk tales. Anansi said, tell me these and I would aptly fulfill all the challenges set before me. Chediampon Kwame said, you need three things. You need a band of hornets. The second thing you need is a very long python. The third thing you need is a live leopard. Once you bring these three things to me, I would confer on you the custodian of all folk tales. So Anansi walked away on his merry way. He went away looking for these three things. He came across a band of hornets in their comb, and he was like, how do I get these hornets to send to Chediampo? So Anansi went and got himself a jar. He lined the jar with some honey and he poured water on himself and sprinkled some water on the hornet's nest. And so when the hornets came out, they're like, oh my goodness, it's raining and our house is going to be wet and we're all going to die. Anansi beckoned them and said, hey, my friends, you're not going to die. I have a safety plan for you. If you guys would all come into this jar, I've packed food, you have provisions for days, you can stay dry and then you would not all die. The hornets happily entered Anansi's jar, and Anansi covered this jar, smiled at himself, and said, this was easier than I thought. Anansi went back to Uchediampon Kwame and set his jar before him with the hornets and said, I'd bring the rest of my requirements. Anansi went off, found himself a very long log that was really strong, put this log on his neck and started walking towards the cave of a python. On his way, Anansi was speaking to himself and arguing loudly. He's definitely stronger than this. My wife Okonoreya is wrong. Okonoreya knows nothing about snakes. She is wrong, and today I'm going to prove to her she is wrong. So as the python heard Anansi argue with himself from a distance, he got curious and said, hey, Eja Anansi, why do you walk around with a log on your neck and you're just yelling and arguing with yourself? Anansi said, listen, my wife Okonoria and I have been arguing for weeks. For weeks, we've been at each other's throat as to how long and strong you are. I think you are much longer than this log I am holding, and you are much stronger than this log. But my wife, for some reason, thinks you're not. And the python was quite surprised. Why would they be arguing about this? Well, the python said to Anansi, why argue with your wife till your face turns blue? Why don't you lay the log? I'd lie next to it and would see if I am taller and stronger than this log or shorter. Anansi laid the log and the python laid next to the log. But for some reason, the python wasn't as long as the log. And try as the python did, it could not stretch itself out longer than the log. Anansi was like, listen, I have a plan. What if I tied your tail to this log, and then you stretched yourself to your longest and fullest. Maybe you might be the log. And when the python agreed, Ananse tied the tail of the python. A python kept trying to get to the end of the log, and Ananse is like, you know what? I know the problem. If I could tie your mid region, maybe you can stretch out a lot more, because I know your head is pretty long. And so he tied the mid region of the snake to this log, and the snake kept stretching. And he's like, listen, let me help you out here. Let me just tie your neck to the log too. And then maybe you just stretch out a few inches and you would make it past this log. When the python agreed, Ananse quickly tied it up. And now that the python was securely fastened to the log, Ananse lifted his log and the python and took it straight to Chediampong Kwame. That was 2 down. Ananse decided for his third challenge, which was going to be the most challenging of all, he had to be a lot more clever and had to put a lot more effort into it. And so Kweku looked for his cheat, the leopard he was going to trap, studied it for weeks, found out all its pattern, where the leopard walked every morning and where it came back home every night. And one day, when the leopard had gone out to hunt, Ananse dug a big trench on the road the leopard takes to the house. He dug a deep trench and covered it with leaves and sprinkled some sand on it and made this trench invisible to the naked eye. When the leopard was coming home in the night, tired and exhausted from its hunt of the day, it stepped on the strap and fell right through to the bottom of the trench. Ananse waited till the leopard was frustrated and tired and weary and stayed in all night, couldn't get out of the trench. Ananse waited a little longer and made the leopard stay in all day. So the leopard was really tired, weary, and wanted to go home. Ananse came out of the bushes he was hiding in and said, "Hey, Mr. Leopard, what's up with you?" He's like, "Man, I've been trapped in this trench for almost a day. I'm so weary. I need to go home. I need your help. Can you help me?" Ananse was like, "Mr. Leopard, you're hungry and you've been in this for a while. If I let you out, you're going to eat me." The leopard was like, "Look, I give you my word. I'm not going to eat you. I'm really tired and I'm beginning to even get woozy and lightheaded." It was then that Ananse's eye twinkled. Ananse was like, "This is right where I need the leopard." So Ananse caught a tree branch, tied a rope to it, and told the leopard, "Listen, Mr. Leopard, I would like you to tie this rope around your neck, but I know you don't trust me and you might think I'll let you hang. So you know what? Tie this around your tail and then I'll lift you out." The leopard thought about it for a second and was like, if I tie it around my neck, this man could kill me. So, hey, tail sounds better. So it tied the rope around its tail, and Ananse let go of the branch, and the tree yanked the leopard out of the trench. But Ananse did not let the leopard go. It made the leopard dangle down there, spun and spun and spun, and when this tired, weary leopard could take it no more, it passed out. Kweku quickly cut down the rope, tied the leopard's hands and legs, and lifted the leopard and went straight to Chediampong and said, "Chediampong, this is the last thing you asked me to bring. I've brought all 3. Can I own the rights to all folklore?" Chediampong looked at Kweku Ananse and was like, "Wow, great men and women have tried to fulfill these 3 challenges, and none of them has been able to do that. Kweku, you've really surprised me. From today forth, all folklore and folk tales that are going to be told are going to be called anansism, as a tribute to your cunning, your wits, your intelligence, and your bravery for carrying out all these challenges." And so it is in lieu of this tale that all the stories you're going to hear on the show today are called anansism. It's in lieu of this tale that our episode gets its title, Kweku Ananse stories. And so this is my first story in the first round of the Kasa podcast storytelling competition.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're next. If you're a boy, I wish you the best.
Hmm.
This pressure, dear Kojo.
Hmm.
If you
Kojo,
are
this
next.
pressure, dear.
Oh,
I have to think about what I have to say now. Cause see, and dear.
Akonadi.
I know, guys. But you know what? I'm gonna win. Cause you know I'm going to win, right?
you don't have to tell us you're going to win. You have to tell your story, and then the viewers would let us know who wins.
Guys, I'm going to give you an interesting story. Forget whatever Kojo told you. I'm going to tell you a story about Anansi and his wife and his 4 kids. So, as Kojo has already mentioned, Anansi has his wife called Okonoria, has 4 kids. That's Intikuma, Iti Killing Kili, Ifu Dishi Dishi. And the last one is Nakoria, right? Yes. So this family had a very big farm that they were cultivating. And we all know that during the olden days, they would work with the whole family. Everyone works. But as cunning as Ananse is, he barely used to go to the farm. He hardly worked when he did go to the farm. And then he made it look as if he was doing something, but he wasn't doing anything. Regardless, they harvested the farm. They grew their plantain, their food, everything on the farm. So when it was getting closer to the harvest season, right? And Nancy told his wife and kids that he's gotten a revelation he's about to die. And so for his last wish, he doesn't want to be buried in a coffin. He wants to be buried in a house. So, as you all know, he wants everything a household has, a kitchen, everything in the house, and wants to be buried in there. So, as his last wish, his wife wanted to honor him, and he actually built a place for him. Before he died, he built a place close to their farm, and then put in saucepan, everything, completed a house, and it was like, this is where you be buried when you die. So yeah, this man faked his death, right? And he not fake his death, but then he, let's say he died, and then they buried him in the house, and then they left him there with tears. Anansi is gone, his kid, they don't know what they will do and all that. Why, please don't confuse me. Yeah, so oh, after they had left, after the funeral and everything, like a week after his death, it was harvest season. So the wife decided to go back to the farm with the kids to go and harvest their produce, something they've been working with the family together. So they wanted to get food, store food, and all that. The first day they went to the farm, someone had already been to the farm and had harvested most of the things they were coming to harvest. They didn't understand. This is their farm. No one comes to their farm. So what is happening? They got sad. She cried and cried and cried and cried, and they went back home. They gave themselves some time and went back a week after. I went back a week after, and thinking, oh, some will still go back and all that. They went and it had still been harvested. They went the next day and it had been harvested. And then she didn't get it. She was like, what is happening? So she made a scarecrow. We all know where a scarecrow is, right? But then put some gum around, like a statue thing around the scarecrow, and put it at the center of the farm. Not knowing, Anansi wanted to eat the farm produce, like the produce by himself without giving his family and his kids, even though he did the least job compared to his family. So he mostly wakes up at dawn before they'll come to the farm, go and take go he mostly wakes up at dawn or in the evening when there's no one at the farm, go and harvest all the produce and put it in his house, cook the food and eat. He did that almost every day. So that night he didn't know that his wife Okonoria had come to put the scarecrow in there. So he saw that night when he came to the farm, he saw the scarecrow at the center of the farm and was like, who is this person? And then the person didn't respond. He asked again, who is this person on my farm? The person didn't respond. He walked towards the scarecrow and said, if you do not respond, I'm going to slap you. He asked again, who are you? The person didn't respond. So he slapped the scarecrow. And because it was a sticky scarecrow, there was this thing around it, his hand got stuck. And then he was like, if you don't leave my hand, I'm going to slap you again. So he asked, who are you? The scarecrow didn't respond, and then he slapped again, and his two hands got stuck. And then he was like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to kick you. And then he asked again, who are you? And the scarecrow didn't respond, and then he kicked with the left leg and did the same with the right leg. And then he ended up getting stuck on the scarecrow like this. So the next he was like that till the next morning when his wife and kids came back to the farm to check on the farm again and to see what was happening. And the wife found out that it was truly his dead husband, a presumed dead husband, that was actually the one that was you know stealing from them. So that is why well, that is the end of my story. Honestly, that is how bad
If yeah,
it
that
was.
is why what?
That is why. That is why.
Uh-huh.
Um. ah, that is why. Oh, what did my mom say? Oh
If
my
you're
god.
If yeah, your boy. If you went to her mom for a point, and she still forgot the
Wait,
apple.
wait, wait. That is
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
the spider is always like this on the wall. Yes,
Oh,
that
okay.
is why.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's Wendy's turn. Wendy, are you ready?
yes, I
Okay.
am.
Wendy.
Okay.
Oh,
And guys,
Sissy.
I want you all to note Efia did not say anansisem yes is you. How
I
can you
said
tell
it.
a
I
story
said it.
without saying
I said
anansisem
it.
yes is you?
Oh, I
Wendy,
didn't say it.
Yes.
yeah, you're up.
Okay. Anansisem, yes, is you.
Yes, it's yeah. It's a wara.
Okay. So, do you guys know that spiders actually used to live on Earth? Like they used to create their works and everything on Earth, like underground. So one time, Kweku Ananse actually he was very hungry, and you know how cunning Ananse can be. So he decided that okay, let me actually play a quick one and on people like moving from one village to another. So he literally, excuse my words, he fired into a bowl and then he sealed it quickly and very tightly and he put it into a coffin and then he carried the coffin around wailing, crying, and telling people that he lost his mom. So anybody that meets him, he'll be crying and wailing, and then they all felt that compassion and everything for him. So he'll be like, oh, he'll open the coffin a little bit, and then he'll just open the bowl a little bit, and then they'll have this foul smell, and then everybody will be like, okay. Then everybody was just feeling so compassionate for him. And then some gave him foodstuffs. Those who were consoling him consoled him and all of that. So he got to one village. And then when he got there, everybody was like, oh, like, let's give your mom a proper burial. Like, let's help dig up and then give her the burial she deserves. Now, Anansi was confused because he knows his mom is not dead and he knows there's nobody in the coffin. So, and everybody gathered around trying to, because honestly, everybody was feeling sorry for him, and then they felt like his mom actually deserves something like a buffet in burial. So they got other villagers from the village. They gathered around. They dug like a hole to put the mom in, only to open the coffin and there's nobody in there. So Anansi quickly just jumped to the top in the corner somewhere, and then that is why Anansi doesn't live on Earth anymore. And then he actually, lives in corners and then creates his webs on the walls and then in corners in certain places. Please, that's the end of my story.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
that's good.
Wow.
That's a good one. That's a good
But
one.
I'm still winning.
Much better than if I was own.
Please.
Please, please, please.
At least you remember the point of your story. If I was finished telling the story and you just forgot the entire point of the story.
Hmm.
Okay, uncle.
Kojo.
Now your
Oh,
turn. Oh.
they said mine.
Ah,
Oh my goodness.
unnecessary.
Do you guys remember whenever we're kids and we had to go and recite something? Like if it's church, they're like everybody should come and say their memory verse. And then you're standing in the corner and they're like, yes, if yeah, and they're like, oh, somebody said mine. If they said yours, you should say someone's own. You
No
see,
way.
you've started losing already.
Oh no, I'm not losing. I'm like,
Okay.
you guys said all the like you
Mm-hmm.
said the main cause. This is
Mm-hmm.
they deserve. I'm not here to
Mm-hmm.
win, nor here to lose. I'm just here
Okay.
to enjoy. So just sit back. So
Mm-hmm.
okay. The title of my story is Anansi and his new wife. I guess
Mm.
we all know Anansi.
Anansi
Mm-hmm.
and
So
what?
his new wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. A long time ago. Anansi went to God. He was like, God, look at my wife. Just eating anyhow. Just like eating and eating. And even taking my share of the food at home. And God looked at him and was like, Anansi, so what do you want me to do for your problem? What do you want me to do for you? Anansi said, God, I need a wife with no mouth on his face, on her face, sorry. And God like, you want a wife with no mouth? He was like, yeah. God was like, okay, go home. I'll since I really like you, I'll do what you want. So Anas was very excited. He went on jubilating. He said, finally, I'm getting someone who will not share food with me. So Anazi, he believes in God. He just went to the supermarket, bought yams, rice, like a whole lot. He just stocked his storage, went everything, restocked the kitchen. And was like, yes, let's do this. And Anazi woke up in the morning and saw this beautiful lady in her kitchen, in his kitchen, preparing breakfast. The wife just turned, slightly nodded, and acknowledged Anansi's presence. Anansi was so excited because upon seeing that lady, she had no mouth. I was like, yes, finally, I can eat whatever I want without sharing. So Anansi was enjoying every time the wife was preparing new food, new flavors of everything was like going on good. Until one day, Anansi went to the kitchen. He was like, wait, I've been buying food. I know that I can eat. Yeah, I do not share food with anybody. I can eat so much. But like, it seems the rate at which the food that is like going is like we are just losing so much food because he just ate one tube of yam. He woke up, three is gone. He was like, wait a minute, there's something wrong. He was like, or maybe my wife is hiding something. So he started monitoring his wife. Every now and then goes to the kitchen while the wife is cooking. But like each time he just get closer to the wife, he doesn't see anything. He was like, then let it be. Maybe I'm eating more than I noticed. So he just like lived with it. So one day, Anansi woke up late in the evening. He was very thirsty. And he was like, okay, let me go get some water. But like he heard this rumbling noise from the kitchen and he was like, what's going on? What's going on? And Sorry, the comment is very, very funny. I was like, what's going on? So he went there and um, Anansi saw the wife sitting down. And once Anansi stood at the door, he was amazed. He was like, what's going on? Because the wife was eating. And people ask me, how's the wife eating without any mouth? Let me tell you, Anansi got to notice that each time the wife just picked like this big I don't know, like this handful of rice, the wife would just open the right armpit and just shove it in. And it's like, wait, your mouth is right beneath your armpit. He was like, oh my god, this is getting serious. And as he got angry, took the wife, went straight up to God, like, God, you need to come explain yourself. How come my wife be having an arm, the mouth right beneath the armpit? And God was like, you said you wanted a wife with no mouth upon her face. And God and Anas was like, oh yeah. And God was like, you didn't say you didn't want a wife without any mouth. And Anas was just ashamed. And God was like, I know, I know you always bring this mindset, this outlandish plans, but I'm here to tell you, I'm really smarter than you are. Then Anas was very, very um I don't know how to say. He was disgraced, and he begged God to bring back his old wife because with his old wife, even though they eat, it doesn't really get like the food doesn't really finish. But this was too much. So Anansi begged for his old wife, and the old wife came back, and everything went for. That's the end of my story. This is funny. The comment is killing me. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hmm.
Anansi was disgraced, but guys, we've come to the end of the first round of our
Oh
stories.
my
And it looks like the comments are telling us how the stories went for you guys. But let's take a minute, right? We're going to take a minute. Right now in the comment section, in the first round, whoever told the story the best, whoever story you enjoy the most, please just comment their name. I'm going to put the names up so that people would know who they're voting for. Let's see. Okay, so now the names are right there. Echo, Wendy, Efia, and Kojo. And so go into the chat and let us know who told the best story. Starting now. Okay, the votes have started coming in. Echo has one vote. Okay, Nanayao.
Hey,
Okay, and so
you
two
people.
votes have come in. Guys, keep voting.
I love you. I
Okay,
love you.
okay, Mr. Bill. Okay,
Oh my god.
okay,
Hey, so you people no
okay,
vote for me. I want to
okay,
a nice story
Oh my
again.
god. No, thank
okay. So
Hey,
we're going to end voting in like 10 more seconds. Okay,
in 10 seconds. That's not
okay.
fair.
Yeah, we have to go to the next round.
Hey. Oh,
Okay,
you people. I want to
okay.
tell you nice
If
stories
you have
again.
got a few votes, right? But it
Oh,
looks
that's
like
nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
okay. So yes, we got a few votes in, and it looks like Ojo won the first round.
Ah,
Kojo also saying.
If you look
Let's
at
do
the
the
number,
counting.
listen.
Let's do the
I won
counting.
the first round.
No, Wendy.
Yes.
Echo got one vote. I got Nanayao. I
No.
got Mr. Bills. I got Keen. I got
Oh my
who else?
god.
I got Angel. I got okay.
I
So
won.
wait, I got four.
And I
Let's
got
see.
five.
Let's see
I got
yours.
11.
Let's
I got
see.
11.
Wendy got Jasmine. Wendy got Shay. Hey, wait, let's start from the top. So Wendy got Rashid. Wendy got
Yes.
Shay. Wendy got
Best mark.
Jasmine. Hey, Wendy got Bismarck didn't vote too.
Ah, she but you didn't vote.
I love the Spider-Man, but okay, Wendy got four now. Let's see.
I
Hey,
got Ben.
Ben is five. Hey, Delight. Hey,
I got
this is
Prince
not
too.
fair. Okay,
Wendy, come on.
Wendy.
People are
Looks like Wendy won the first round. Wendy has won the first round.
I
Guys,
love you guys.
now it's time to get into the
no,
second round.
no, no,
Oh,
no, no,
You
no,
Listen,
guys.
no.
listen,
We
listen.
need
It's
we
fine.
need
At the
something.
end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we're going to have the overall vote. But Wendy has won the first round. We're going to
Thank
go into
you.
the second round of
How?
Thank you.
You
stories.
people, you didn't even count my votes.
Honestly,
I
If
see
yeah,
thank
you
you
are
if
all
yeah,
for
we
this
against
we
one.
me.
don't
I
we don't
love
You
need to
you
didn't
count.
guys.
even
Okay.
Thank
count
you.
my votes.
Now let's get into the second round. I think at the end of the day,
I
the
know do
cream would
again.
rise to the top.
I know do again.
Apparently, people need an independent EC. We'd get to
Mhm.
the independent EC, but Kwesi is in the house. The birthday boy is in the house. Guys, before going to the second round, let's take a minute to appreciate 100 pesos. Kwesi Pokwajima celebrated his birthday yesterday. Today, the birthday
Yeah.
boy is going to be our EC. So, birthday boy, please do the math in the background, and whenever we're done, please give us the results. And so, this round of voting has ended. We're going to go to the second round of stories. Once again, this is the Kasa podcast. Today we are telling Ananse stories. If you haven't done that already, please hit that subscribe button. It really goes out to help the channel a lot. We really appreciate when you love and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and share the link. It really helps out the channel a lot. We have so many other videos. If you've not seen it, we went back to high school, and that video got dropped this morning. Please take a look at that video. But we're going to dive back into our storytelling. Like we said, Ekwa is going to start this round.
Hey,
Wendy would follow, Ifya Yeboah would follow, and then I would end the storytelling. And so, guys, if you're ready, this is round two of Kweku Ananse stories with the Kasa podcast. The tribe is getting into Kweku Ananse stories today. We're excited, and Echo has been ruling the comment section. Echo told a wonderful story, and Echo star
The
round two. Let's
Spider-Man
go.
story, Marvel
I don't
movie
know.
director.
People
Please.
just get distracted. I just got distracted by the comment. I'm like, okay.
Echo, keep your eye on the price. I can see
Thanks.
that Wendy has bought a lot of votes, but don't worry, you've got this,
I
brother.
know do
Thank
again.
you. Frankie, God bless you. Oh, you like I love you.
Hey.
Hey,
Someone said he's going to vote for me because of the hoodie. Yeah, man, it's true. It's Chai Town. You're not voting for me. I'm in a Chai Town hoodie and you're not
you
voting.
people,
But
Magi.
Echo, it's your turn.
Okay.
Round two. Again,
Mhm.
honorable judges in the audience and the people watching the stream later, please take some points off people who start their story without an Anansisem Yesisio. We
Please.
need to
Could you?
know.
Nobody has
uh,
sent you.
Okay.
No one has sent you.
I know so no
Nobody
spell
has
I
sent
beg.
you. Let
I
them
and
beg
vote.
so
no.
we're
Vote.
going to dive into the second round. Echo,
Mhm.
take it away.
Anansisem Yesisi.
Yesisia
It's a
Esewara.
war.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Once upon a time, Kukonansu lived in a village with 4 kids and a wife. Kukonansu was really poor. He was really poor to the extent that he couldn't afford much for his family. One day he was like, "Oh, what's going on? I have to do something for my family because I can't die with poverty." So Kweku went to the village and lied to everyone that his wife was very, very, very sick, and it and the wife needs medical attention or needs money to go for medical attention. Now, people were very, 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 very generous. They gave Kweku money. People were like gave him all sorts of money. He got rich within an instant, within less than a week. He got rich. Now Kweku had an idea. He was like, "Let me go back to my place, get a plot of land, and start farming." But he sat down and was like, "No, don't know that I have money. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna buy a plot of land in my uncle's name." Kweku bought the land in his uncle's name. Everybody was like, "Kweku, you don't know your uncle." He was like, "Yeah, my uncle. I have an uncle who lives in a big city. And my uncle just bought me this money, so I'm just doing this farming." Kweku bought this large plot of land ready to farm. He went to the youth and he was like, "Come help me, let's farm. I'm just gonna give you like good pay. I'm just gonna take care of you because my uncle is very, very rich." So they started farming, Everything was going on well. Within an instant, within less than a year, Anansi was getting rich. He was like going, he was just enjoying it. But Anansi had this one child, Etikelen Kele. He has a big head, but with no sense. So Anansi, with his family, they know about the secret. But apart from his family, nobody knows about the secret. Etikelen Kele went to town, was playing with this child, the chief's son, and he told the chief's son that, do you know what my dad did? My dad is very, very wise. He did this and this. He got money. He lied to you guys, got money, and now we are in this family business. We are just farming and we're having money. And the child went to the chief, reported the whole incident, and the chief was furious. And the chief told the youth, he told the town folks that like this what Anansi did. Then everybody got angry. They started coming. They were like, let's go to Anansi. Let's go and deal with him. They got all sorts of weapons ready to go attack Anansi. Anansi was at home. He was just relaxing. He was just enjoying. And he heard this crowd coming with this, like, they were very angry, heard all the noise. Anansi was like, he was really panicked. He didn't know what to do. He had no weapons in him. He just immediately just ran up to the room, went to one of the corners and started hiding. And this is why we always say that whenever you enter into a room, you have spiders in your corner because Anas is always hiding. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you. That was good. At least I like it when you end the story and you remember the point of the story. It really helps a lot.
Mm, yeah. The previous one, you guys were distracting me in the comments.
So Echo has gone for the second time, and Wendy is about to dive in and give us a story. Wendy, are you ready? A lot of applause for Echo. I think this was a wonderful story. Yes, everybody's applauding your wonderful work. Wendy, you're next. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yes, please.
Let's dive right in.
Anansisem yesisia.
Yes, it's yeah.
Hey,
Esewara.
easy see so.
If you am a pedal, so once upon a time,
Mm-hmm.
Anansi lived in this village. And we all know Anansi's crooked ways and cunning ways, and how he always was to smart everybody around him. So one time, Anansi, like, I mean, he had a farm, he and his family had a farm, but then what was missing was meat, like protein, to enjoy their food with. So he being somebody that's so scared to go hunting by himself because he knows he cannot hunt and he'll be eaten up, he decided to go for a charm, juju in bracket. So he went to this ritualist, and then this man actually gave him a charm, and then the charm was to actually it was I would say it was an incantation, whatever they call it. So you have to say these words so that you be able to get these animals to be like, they become so I don't know, like lifeless, so that you can take them home and then do whatever you want to do with them. So the incantation was enamo and chime enam. So anytime he sees the animal that he actually wants to hunt or kill or do whatever he wants to do with it, he actually has to say these words. So he kept on doing that, and then like in the animal kingdom, they realized, oh, our animals are really going down, like they're dying too much. So what is the reason? And then one time, the monkey actually um, he actually hit some work to actually see what Anansi was doing, and he realized what Anansi was doing. He quickly went to tell the others in the kingdom that this is what Anansi has been doing. So they decided to actually, catch him red-handed. So he did that again, and then this time around the monkey was there, and then they actually staged it. So they had all the people in the village and then the animals around, and then they told him he recited what he was supposed to recite, but then the animals did not die because they said something else because they had been told what to say. So after that, he was caught and then he was confronted. and then everything. But because of what he did, he and his family had to be sacked from the village. Now, the moral lesson of the story is when you try to do something and you cannot do it, just ask for help or just seek somebody's help. Or if you still, if the people around you just still don't want to help you, I mean, there's a time that's going to come to be able to do whatever you want to do. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Hey.
Wendy has finished
Hmm.
the trial of Wendy.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Efia Yeboah, are you
Could
ready?
I think I call I'm next. Oh,
Ha.
yeah.
Be
Hey,
careful.
Wendy, this story didn't go down well with the
Quiet.
crowd, but people are still voting though. Guys, it's not time for voting yet. Please hold on. We'll tell you when to vote. You can still comment though. You can still
Citizen
hey, people are
power.
voting for Wendy even before the polling starts. Efia Yeboah,
Could
I think
you?
it's your turn. Let us hear your second story so that people would have a fair idea where the votes are going.
Okay. So, anansisem sisio.
Yeah, yes, it's
It,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes, wow.
So, I'm going to tell you guys a story of how why Ananse doesn't live at home anymore.
Hmm.
No, I think I won't say that. I'll tell you a story why Ananse doesn't.
Efia
I'll
Yeboah.
tell you a
Mhm.
story why Anansi doesn't have hair on his head.
Okay.
If you guys have seen you all have seen a spider before, right? You see, he doesn't have hair on his head. I'm gonna tell you why this happened. So, once upon a time, Anansi lived with his wife, beautiful wife, and four lovely kids. I've already mentioned their names already, so I'm not gonna mention it again. So, he was this kind of person who didn't believe in, you know, eating at your in-laws house. He wasn't a person that really believed in that. So anytime he goes to visit his in-laws, they would serve him and give him a lot of food, and he would tell them no, he doesn't want to take anything. He goes there and he never eats. But one day he went to visit his in-law, and they cooked fufu with soup and a lot of meat. That apparently was his favorite meal. So when he got to the house, he didn't know what to do, honestly, because that day he was like, he wasn't going to eat anything. His in-laws served him as usual, even though they know he would say no. They served him the food, and they started talking, having conversation and all that. So the in-law had to step out for a few minutes. He stepped out, and Anansi packaged the food nicely and put the food in his cap and put the cap on his head. So the in-law, so the in-law came, and she came to continue the conversation. And Anasu was eager to leave. Did he understand why Anasu wanted to leave? He was like, "What is happening? Why do you want? Why are you in a hurry?" You guys, you guys, don't confuse me. Let me tell my story. So,
Ladies
so
and
please,
gentlemen, Efia
please.
Yeboah has completely lost the plot. Efia,
You guys, listen. Let me finish the story. I'll get back to you soon. Let me finish. So yeah, he was in an eager to leave, right? He wanted to leave because it was burning his head. The food was in the cup on his head, so he was like he wanted to leave, and he said no, didn't understand. He was like, you just came here, the food he gave you. At least today you've taken the food. He was like, he didn't take the food, and he just wants to leave. But the in-law wanted to keep him for some time, so he kept him for some time. And when Anasu was ready to leave, he was he was almost dead, but he didn't die. He got home. Oh my god, you guys will kill me. No, 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 no. Okay, let me continue. So he got home, and he took he took
It's amazing how Efia cannot even hold her composure. Efia, just finish the story. Oh, awesome.
you guys don't do this. Don't do this, honestly. Okay, let me get back to being serious. So he go home and asked his wife Okonoria to help him get the food and everything out. He got the food out of the cab, and then he realized the hair on his head was all gone. And since then, the hair on his head never grew back. So yeah, that is it. That is my analysis.
Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are hearing stories. So if Yayaboa told a story for 4 minutes, laughed for 3 out of these 4 minutes, and she still wants your vote, but we'll let that be. I would get into my final story and then I'll let you guys take the vote. So I am going to tell a story about how, due to Ananse, wisdom was shattered and spread all across the length and breadth of the kingdom. Kweku Ananse had a family, a wonderful family like my friends have already told us about. His wife, Okonoreya, had 4 children. The first one was Intekuma. Intekuma was a very chatty, chubby, witty kid, just like his dad. The second child was Tikilinkili. Tikilinkili inherited some of the features of his dad in that Tikilinkili had a very lean body and a rather oversized head. Efuduhweduhwe was the kid after Tikilinkili. As for Efuduhweduhwe, he inherited a portion of his dad's mid regions. He had a very big tummy and rather disproportionately small heads and legs and arms. The youngest of them all was Na Akonhia. Na Akonhia inherited his dad's features, which was the very skinny legs. So put together, putting Tikilinkili's head on Efuduhweduhwe's stomach and Na Akonhia's legs, you would have the spider-like features, right? It looks almost like a spider. And these kids played a very important role in this tale I'm about to share with you. So one morning, Anansi and his wife woke up to chaos in the house. The kids were arguing as to what their dad is actually going to leave them for an inheritance. Because Anansi was not a very hard worker and didn't have a lot of property. So his kids were like, dad is going to die and leave us nothing. We're going to be broke and we're going to just be as poor as dad. Anansi was a bit disappointed because his kid didn't see any, fortunes lying ahead. They didn't think they were going to inherit much. So Anansi was like, listen, I have to change this. I have to find a way to equalize this. Like, I don't want people to be extremely rich and extremely poor. So Anansi went to the oracle called Abrewa and asked Abrewa, my kids are telling me I am leaving them nothing. They're really worried. They argue about this all day. Abrewa, what can I do so that my kids at least have a fair shot in the future? Abrewa, the oracle, told Anansi, it's because of wisdom, right? People are making a lot of money because they are wiser than you. If people are not smarter and more intelligent than you, nobody is going to be richer than you. So your kids would have a fighting chance. Instead of Anansi concentrating his efforts into getting some wisdom and getting money to leave an inheritance for his kids, Anansi came up with a plan to find all the wisdoms he could, all the wisdom in the world, bottle it up and hide it away from everyone so that nobody would be wiser than him and nobody would be richer than him. So Anansi set out on a quest. He went to a fetish called Okonfo and told Okonfo, I need you to help me with an incantation. Can you make me 4 magic jars? 3 very small magic jars and a very large magic jar. I want these jars to have the incantation that whenever someone shares something wise with me, their wisdom will leave their heads into my jar. After Okonfo prepared these jars for Ananse, Ananse took his jars and went on his merry way. Then he set out on a quest. With the first small jar, Ananse took a trip to the underworld, where he met the lord of the underworld, Nana Bonsam. When Ananse went down to the underworld, he told Nana Bonsam, I've seen that so many people have died. And they came here into the afterlife and in the underworld with the wisdoms in their head. Can you please gather all this wisdom for me? I need it to complete a challenge on the human plane. Nana Bonsam wasn't very in favor of putting all the wisdom in Ananse's jar. So Nana Bonsam said, Ananse, this is going to cost you. Nobody trades with Bonsam and goes free. What are you going to trade? Ananse said, listen, I have 4 children. I don't have much use for them. So I'll give you my youngest, Nakon here. You can keep him. Just keep him here and give me all the wisdom. Bonsam was like, no, it really isn't a fair deal. And Ananse said, there's one more thing in it for you. I know you and the other gods have a rivalry of sorts. I believe you, Nana Bonsam, has the most wisdom in his realm. If I could measure it in my jar, we would know who exactly has the most wisdom in their realm. Now that pricked Nana Bonsam's interest and was like, yep, I really want to show Chedian Ponkwame, the god of the sky, and Asasiya, the god of the earth, that my realm has the most wisdom. And so Bonsam gathered all the wisdom in the underworld and placed it in the jar. The jar was very full of all the wealth of wisdom people had died and gone to the underworld with. Ananse fastened the lid of the jar and quickly ran off into the earthly plane. Ananse hid his bottle away and went and took the second jar and went to Asasiya, Mother Nature as she's known in other cultures, and said, Asasiya, I know this entire human plane is yours. All the earth is yours, and all the wisdom therein is yours. But I have been treated unfairly. As a avid worshipper in your shrines, I have not been given any wisdom. I really want you to help me gather all the wisdom so that we can redistribute it among all your children fairly, so that there's no disproportionate distribution of wisdom. Mother Nature had pity on her son and was like, I think that could be right. If we can get all the wisdom together and redistribute it, we could have everybody fairly wise and everybody would do well for themselves. So Mother Nature summoned all her kids, Inya, Insio, and Frama, and they went across the length and breadth of the kingdom and gathered all the wisdom they could find. They placed them all in Ananse's jar, and Ananse fastened it and ran off with his wisdom. So he had 2 jars of wisdom from the underworld and the earth. Now he was left with the biggest realm of them all, the sky realm. Ananse took his empty jar, and went up to the sky realm and started crying. Ananse cried and wailed, and Chedian Ponkwame called him and said, why, my son, are you so moody and gloom? And he's like, the wisdom up here in the sky realm is so far beyond the reach of the people who need this wisdom. the people who could actually use this wisdom. There's so much wisdom in this kingdom, but there's nobody here to use it, and we're struggling down there, wallowing in our ignorance on the earthly plane. Chediampon Kwame thought about Anansi's proposal and was like, yes, I actually don't see the need for all the wisdom to be scattered here in the sky plane when people could actually use it on the earthly plane. So Chediampon Kwame gathered all the wisdom in the heavenly plane, put it in Anansi's jar, and Anansi bid him bye-bye and left. Now Anansi returned back to his earthly kingdom, to his house, called his kids and said, look, I am the smartest of them all. You guys thought I was going to leave you with nothing. I am going to leave you with all the wisdom on the earth, in the sky, and in the afterworld. The kids were happy, but they were like, Pops, we actually can't use this because the incantation says nobody ever gets this. Anansi was like, haha, wait. Anansi got his bigger jar and poured all the wisdom in the big jar. The kids were happy. Finally, Dad has mixed all the wisdom in the underworld, on the earthly plane, and in the sky, and now it was their property. They were going to be sole custodians of all wisdom in the land. But that was when Anansi's new plan came to be. Anansi was like, these kids didn't work. I worked for this wisdom. These kids didn't go to the underworld where it's always burning and there's chaos and trick Nana Bonsam for all his wisdom. They did nothing. I mean, they didn't go with me to Chediampon Kwame to get all the wisdom in the sky. They don't deserve it. So Anansi decided, listen, he was going to climb the tallest tree in the forest and hide off his jar of wisdom. He woke up one morning and called Ntekuma and said, Ntekuma, carry this jar and let's go to the farm. I'm going to hide this off. You guys don't deserve all the wisdom in the world. Ntekuma cried as he carried it, and they went deep into the jungle, the forest of no return. When they got to the forest of no return, they found the tallest tree called Nyamidria. Anansi told Ntekuma to wait under the Nyamidria while he climbed to the apex of this tree and hid off all the wisdom in the world. Anansi looked at his jar, looked at his belly, oversized belly, and looked at the Nyamidria and was like, I guess I'll just fasten the jar to my back and climb up this tree. As Anansi struggled to climb up the tree, he realized, listen, my jar, my belly, and I cannot get to the apex of this tree. I have to figure out a new plan. Ntekuma looked at his dad up the tree and wondered, Dad, I don't think it's smart. You have weight on your back and you have a big belly, which is weight in the front, so you might not really move fast. If you would move the jar to the side, it would be helpful. Anansi was like, okay, to the side. So Anansi moved the jar to the side and he started climbing, and it was a lot easier than before. Over time, Anansi got tired and was like, I should move this jar again. And Ntekuma was like, now that you're getting weak, you should probably move the jar to the top of your head, and that way you can actually move faster. At this point, Anansi was almost at the top of the tree. Then it pricked him. His son has been coaching him all along as to how to get himself and his jar up the tree. So in real sense, he had missed some of the wisdom. His son had proven to be wise. Anansi, in his rage and disappointment, decided to just let go of the jar because his missions had been fruitless. He let go of this jar. The jar came all the way from Nyamidria, hit the ground, smashed into several pieces, and the wisdom therein scattered all over the earth, in the skies, and in the underworld. Anansi's efforts to capture all wisdom and be the sole owner of wisdom did not work. And so people all over the world, in the earthly plane, in the underworld, and in the sky plane, got access to all the wisdom. And this is why Wendy, Efia, Papako, and all our listeners have had all the wisdoms that has been stored in these Kweku Ananse stories to share with us. That is why you have enjoyed it, and we have enjoyed telling the story. So this is the last story in this round of our Kweku Ananse stories. Um, and like we always say when it comes to Anansi stories,
Kojo, this one was too long. This one that you made a lot. A
Efia,
lot.
Efia,
Kabishi.
you had your chance and you used yours to laugh. I used mine to tell a story. As long, listen, there's a saying that Anansi sema metuye sedo
Seyedo.
senyedo
Seyedo.
yes sa near the swa.
This one.
At this point, yeah, the best was song because song has been very active in the comment section. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed our stories. These are some folk tales that we gathered from our infancy, right?
Yep.
And along our lives, right? And we learned lessons from these stories. We were entertained by these stories, and we decided to share with you as a tribe, right, on the Kasa podcast on a Sunday evening. We would like to take the votes again. I know Wendy is massively in the lead. I know Kwesi is working in
You
the
have to go to court.
backstage. Kwesi is working backstage trying to collate all the
God.
votes.
Rashid,
We're going to
Hey.
all the voting has to begin now. We have 28
You
people
people,
on
wait,
the
my
live
kid sister
stream.
voted for Kojo. Jennifer. We are not
If you are relaxed,
voting.
if you are relaxed. Now we're going to take a minute, right? Please send in your votes. Send in your votes, the stories you enjoy, the stories. I just vote for the storytellers, and let's see who won today's competition of Kasa Podcast Kweku Ananse
Everybody
stories.
want to leave. Yeah, but to be.
Please send in your votes. Voting once would be great. If you vote more than once, it just gives us a hard time
You
trying to
should be
collate the
disqualified
votes.
if you vote more than once.
Kwesi is backstage trying to collate all the votes. Kwesi, just tally them as they come in. And when you're done,
Mina
can
voted
send-
for me.
you can
thank
send
you.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
guys, I love you so much. All those who voted for me. Oh my God, I love you. I
Mina
love you.
voted for me.
Hmm.
As for Akosi Ayabo Jennifer. As for you, don't test me
I
again.
don't even get one vote too. Hey.
Oh my God. I love you, Jasmine, Delight.
Hey.
Prince.
Oh,
guys, we're going to give you guys an option. So we're going to share a link, right? We're going to share a link in the hey, how do I share this link? Please vote using the link. We've sent a link in there. I've put a link in the direct chat. I've put a link in the direct chat
Let's
on.
see.
Oh, back is that not long?
I think it is. We can just, if you can, we would leave the link in the description of the video too. So you can just click on it and share your vote. We're going to wrap up today's episode. It's been wonderful. I'm putting the link in the description. So if you're watching the YouTube, you can go into the description right now and the link would be there. Hit that link and cast your vote. We would get the poll together and see what.
Announce the winner as
Yep.
Ifiayabo.
Yes, Efia Yeboah is confident in the story she told and she believes she has won. But the votes have come in,
Please.
and
How did this?
at the end of the day, voting doesn't lie. I think we all
We
know.
will go to court. We will go to
Enemies
court.
not
this
be
We
is
all
God.
know
How am I third on
who
this?
who
Well, I
won.
won the first one.
I think we're
Enemies no be God.
Enemies of
No,
God.
whoever
My friends came here, they voted for Kojo. The other one
whoever
voted
wins
for
together,
Wendy.
not doing
no,
right.
but
'Cause I
but
won the
before
first one.
before we start fighting, let's do
I'm
this.
done.
For those of you in the live stream, really appreciate you joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our stories. They might not be the ones you're familiar with, they might not be the ones you know, but we hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. The voting can still continue after the show. Leave a comment after we upload the video for whoever you think told the best stories, and don't forget to like
won.
and subscribe to the channel. It really goes out to help the Casa podcast a lot. We love doing what we do. We love bringing up these wonderful episodes for you to enjoy. And we always appreciate you being here for us, being here with us, joining the live stream, sharing our videos. Just check out the channel, right? We upload a couple of videos almost every week. Just enjoy those ones and let's continue growing the tribe, continue growing the channel. And thank you so much for joining us. From us here at the tribe, we're going to wrap up,
I
right? We're going to wrap
won,
up.
you guys. I
I would
won.
read a few comments.
I
The votes keep
won.
coming in, and
Single one.
Ifya is still closing the gap, but would end the show now before Ifya
Wow.
takes the lead.
When
As
you
for
are nobody.
PY, we
I
are not
don't get
P.
it. Like I honestly,
PY, don't we are not friends anymore.
Okay.
Akosia, we are not friends. Ethel, we are
Girl,
not friends again. All of you voted for Kojo and Wendy. We are not
I
cool.
know Ifya is peeved, but no, Ifya is peeved. We really appreciate you joining the live stream today. Ifya is peeved. Next time, she's going to tell better stories, and hopefully, she would get some more votes. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a wonderful time. We've really enjoyed this episode, recording and sharing our stories with you. We appreciate you so much for coming, and we hope to see you in our next episode. So this is us. It's from us here at the tribe, and so from us here at the tribe, it's
Bye.
bye.